How could we look
all
any better? I mean, this is looking good. Let us know when we're on, Mac. We
You're
don't want
on.
them to know how.
You two good-looking men, you're on.
Yeah, we don't want people to know that we appreciate it.
Did you hear me?
Dude, I always thank you.
You two good-looking men, you're on.
Oh, hey, thank you, on.
Thanks to Anthony.
Welcome to.
Hey, wait, the kid does it, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, fire away.
Go.
Okay.
Go. That's good enough.
Start.
Yes, start.
You know, Slate Carvel has a production with that you just cut through the BS.
Some people have fetishes with
Yeah.
particular stuff. He likes the sound of a slap.
Oh, no, he just likes to, to build it up, the excitement before he slams it.
Yeah.
So anyway, Slate's not here today, and listen, filling his big boots, we got Louis Claude, our buddy.
Oh, shit.
Yeehaw! Our buddy via Brooklyn and...
He's not an easy one to get on the program because of his crazy busy schedule.
Yeah.
Says he actually works to earn money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
imagine that.
I'm one of those. I'll climb under your house and make $1.
And Alpine is out painting her chalet, getting it ready for the winter. However,
so
she
she
did
has-
report Lowell at
did?
1 o'clock,
Yeah.
89.
Oh, wow, they're
Almost-
catching up to
They're
us.
catching up to us,
Little
89.
balmy.
That's a little warm for
Slightly
there.
balmy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's cool. Well, we thank her, and a few of the other thank yous.
Thanks,
Thank
bud.
you, Postcards from Lowell.
Appreciate you. Here's some postcards.
The one that started it off was the one from Chris Susie
Here's
and
some
Megan
other
Jones.
ones. I got the one at home in my refrigerator. Here are the others.
Those are
Quick. You know what
courtesy
it's
of
about.
Conrad and Deb.
That's the spot right there. You go and check out all the past episodes. You check out the YouTube channel. You check out everything you need.
Yep.
All the goings on of Lowell.
And we thank Adam Messer for putting us on that. He posts that all the time.
So yeah,
And
I think he
spoken-
makes like $45,000 each time he posts it for us.
pretty good.
And he's never told us about it.
YouTube's paying
Doesn't
right
trickle
away.
down. It does not trickle down.
Appreciate
But
you
he also
watching.
gave us
You're filling Adam's pockets.
the famous lady phone. Hello.
Yeah, I
Hello.
like that. You
Hello.
bring me flowers
Anymore.
on the phone. It's on the
Yeah,
phone.
what else we got? Okay.
We got
Another
we got
charter
pass me that
member.
over there.
Charter member of Aluminum Pickle
Yeah,
right here.
heck yeah.
Right here he is.
That's right. That
There
band
he
got
is.
me kicked out of my apartment. How radical
And-
it was.
Okay, let's give credit where credit is due. It was, what's her name? Lassie, Darcy, Smarcy.
Yeah.
Who was the girl that lived next door to you there?
Darcy.
No, the one that lived there.
I know. Kirsty.
Kirsty called the gendarmes.
Yeah.
Had you kicked out of your apartment because we got the band together.
Neighborhood
Aluminum Pickle
organization
did.
showed up
And
with
then she
notices
moves to
and then, right then
Atlanta.
she leaves.
She moves to Atlanta. Can't be any louder than
Nerve of
Atlanta.
that chick.
They call her that louder.
Nerve of that chick.
And after bouncing us. When I told her that, she said, I didn't do that. I never called on you guys.
We're like, yeah. I know all about it. chick.
Yeah.
We know your type.
So anyway, that much for that. And as Louis just found out today, we signed a contract with You Dirty
Dirty
Rack
Rack.
Records and Tapes.
Records
They're
and
going to be
tapes.
putting our new
Oh, yeah.
album
Love
together.
it.
Climbing the
8-track
charts.
and cassette and reel to reel.
And 78
It's
RPM.
the real deal.
78 RPM. Speaking of that, you want to see the...
Oh, look
Look
there.
at my buddy Louis gave me
We had
last
to
week.
give him a
This
little bit
is
of love.
nice.
because-
Anyone that knows me knows my favorite artist.
Yeah.
Right there. Buddy
Right
Holly.
there. So we
Turn
gotta
it
make-
around, Bill. There's some
Yeah,
nice,
I'm
nice
gonna-
That's
pictures.
I'm
picture
gonna-
right
Yep.
there too.
Look at there he
So,
is.
I went and I was like, man, I gotta get Bill something, and I was like, I'm gonna go in the record store, and it was interesting because they were talking about him at the counter, just as I happened to flip to
You're
his
kidding.
album,
You're
and I was
kidding.
like, oh, that's a destiny right there. If only I could fix that little darn
That is beautiful.
pesky turntable. would
And
be
just
good.
to prove
we
that,
will get it going.
well, just to prove that
Well, we
it's
love
his
that, Mr.
favorite artist,
Yeah.
we have this hanging in our spare bedroom.
Marianne's cousin Terry.
Yeah.
She found out I like Buddy Holly.
Love like this.
So this was from a picture on an album.
Might have been that one. It looks very familiar.
I think it is.
It's Valhalla.
Yeah.
It's in the neighborhood.
I think she did that
Yeah.
for me,
Can't quite hear.
and it was from that original album
Yeah.
Yeah.
that she did it. And we thank you, Terry Terry's a sweetheart. She laughs at everything you say.
That's good.
Terry, the house is on fire. You have to get out.
We like that type of audience. Makes our day.
She's a hot ticket, though. We love Terry.
Yeah, here's to that.
And if anyone wants to call...
If you're crazy enough.
Now, Chad said you didn't have all the numbers, so they're right. He was right. There was a 4 and a 2 missing. So our phone number is on there now. And if you want to be fancy and the schmancy, look, it's on the back, too.
Mm-hmm.
Ah!
You could memorize that.
Unsure.
It says numbers.
So
we have numbers on the back and the front.
Yep. Murder
So
by
that
numbers.
takes care of that. Let's see, what are we doing? Okay,
you got your shirt on, you got your digs, you got your cup.
My daughter Carol, Kat, the pumpkin, gave me this glass that was her son's. Love it.
Yep.
And Carol is on.
I use it once a week for this show only because I don't want to overuse it and take a chance of dropping it. And so anyway, once a week.
Eternal love for that soul.
You bet.
Ricky Stokes is on.
Hey Ricky, how you doing? Hey Carol.
What up, Ricky?
You forgot the area code again. Must be on the numbers that you...
No,
The
it's in
area
there.
code?
Yeah.
Area code's in there, it's in the mix.
It's in the mix.
Hey, you know, I'll tell you something about Savannah area code.
Hint, you could use one of the numbers, a couple of them more than once.
Now, you don't understand this, but
What?
when you get older and you push
Chinese?
buttons, sometimes, like on a computer or on a phone, you push the same number twice. But you didn't mean to do that, but that's older people that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So the Savannah area code 912 is a big mistake. Because old people hit 911. Oh, I meant 2.
That's
How
right.
many people calling Savannah get 911? Because it'll stop
telling
right then, and then
right?
we'll send the police to your house.
Yeah, immediately.
I'm thinking just for the sake of old people. they
What's
ought
the
to
sake of
change
your
that.
call? What's your emergency? I pressed the 1 twice.
So Ricky says the yellow shirt is number 19. Yes. Martin Truex.
19, right there. That was a good year.
Truex. Yes.
Truex.
Martin Truex.
Oh, he must have been a racer. Right?
Well, Ricky, what was he? I'd say he's a guitar player. Oh, maybe, yeah.
He was the Mahjong
Good
King.
guess.
That kid went down to Chinatown. He was the
Ian.
Mahjong King.
Speaking of this, if you turn that this way and then upside down, that's the year I graduated from high school.
61.
1961.
The last year of inversion.
Until 6009
6009.
will be the next time that the year says the same upside down.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the previous last year? What was the previous year to 61? The previous inverted year. We'll leave that hanging out there. If anyone wants to guess it, that's watching.
In 1991.
11.
6.
It wasn't in the 20th century.
0.
It wasn't.
Year
in,
0.
It wasn't in the 20th century.
Oh.
Anyway.
Stephanie waves hello.
Hey, Steph, how you doing? Line them up, Steph. Okay, perfect. Anyway,
It's so nice.
I usually have a postcard from Lowell. I'll get to that in a minute.
So
No, I'll get to that now. Last week, the postcard from Lowell was, I try to keep it into the years I lived in Lowell. Then I said, well, I lived right next door to Lowell after I lived in Lowell. So there was still some
I had to
things,
drive through to get to work.
there were some things that happened in Lowell that were still funny.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit older. I was 16. I believe I was 16, close to it, if not 15 or 16. And to make a long story short, went to Omar's. Omar's was a black man in Lowell that sold beer for 50 cents to anyone. Didn't care your age, anything. This is how he made his extra money.
Yeah.
So we go to Omar. First time and last time and only time I went to Omar's, I was about 16 years old. And you give him 50 cents. And Chad said, that must have been a bargain. I said, no, you could get them for a quarter in a bar room. But at 16, I wasn't going into a bar room.
Yeah.
And you sat there on his couch, and Omar was there with a couple of his friends. Then his niece come in and started jiving and dancing. And just jiving and dancing.
Nice.
It was. And here I am. As I say, if my parents caught me drinking at that age, I'd have been grounded for a year. They were strictly taboo, no alcohol. And I thought, as I said, my mother would have said, "Oh, that's Buddy." My father would have said, "You're grounded. You're done."
That's right. That's what he said. Don't ever come home with the police or drunk.
Right, and there we are, three of them, me and my two buddies, sitting there having a 50-cent beer, and that's all I had. That 50 cents. That was my night out money. I could have got a pack of cigarettes,
Yeah.
and I could have got an English muffin and a cup of coffee,
Easily.
and left a nickel tip.
Nice.
So, but that was it. I gave it all for that one beer, and I didn't even like beer. I just drank it to be there.
Just curious.
But anyway, his niece was doing this funky dance she called the hammer. And here I am. You get a picture, seriously. I had never been in a black person's
It's like
house.
something out of Fellini.
I had never been in a black person's house. And it was just, it was different. I'm sitting there with my two pals, we're drinking our beer. She's doing that, and there were people walking in, and they'd whisper something to Omar, and he'd just tell him to go in the kitchen and take care of it there, whatever it was. So there was something going on there that I knew that this is the first time in my life I'm a part of, and I didn't feel the least bit intimidated or anything. So Chad said, "Did you, where'd he go? Your picture.
There we go. Who was it?
Actually, it was over here. I was going to show. Anyway, he says, what did she look like? I thought, oh God, I was 16. That was back in 1959. It was,
Oh, this is his secretarial skills
I'm off.
We're visiting.
coming to
Is
fruition.
it under there? That's
No.
not it, is it?
No,
That's not it.
no.
That's not
Could
it.
it
That's
fall
not
behind?
it.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Anyway, so Chad asked
Hold
me
on, I'll crawl
to
through the
draw
walls.
her.
You drew a picture of her?
Yeah, I drew a picture of her.
Gotta be here somewhere. I thought I saw a drawing somewhere.
Yeah, I know. It was just here.
Wasn't this?
Oh, it's around
That's
somewhere.
not it.
No, it has to be over here, Mac. I'm wondering if it fell down behind here. Here's where I'd look. If you can. This show is as organized as me.
I don't see it.
Well, this is a whole thing of my story.
That's not it.
No, we already had that bad boy up there.
That's not it.
You've got to be kidding. It was right here on my left, ready for the show.
Hold on. I
So
gotta
the
find
only
it.
thing I'm saying, it had a slip down here.
Alright, hold on. I'm going crawling.
You can say that, but it could have gone behind that thing or in front of it.
I'm peeking. Hold on.
I'm thinking this way.
Oh, I'm sorry, Louis.
That's alright.
He said Louis is crawling around looking under the cabinet.
I want to know what she looked like. I'm curious.
No, it would have to. See that? Here, let me move this. It's either in front of it or behind it, is my guess, if it fell.
Nope.
Nope.
Amazing.
Did you draw it with invisible ink?
Disappearing
Did you
ink.
use the invisible ink again?
Disappearing ink.
So if we find it, you will show them the picture. So
Well, no, it throws me all off track. I was about to do that. Anyway, I'll read you.
Show her. He was doing the hammer time.
Unfreaking believable.
Hammer time. What'd you draw her on? Paper?
Yeah, and it was only about this big, the paper.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't very big. No, I wouldn't get under there. I just saw it. It was up top, so it's not
Was up
under
top.
something.
Alright. Anybody make paper airplanes when we weren't paying attention?
That's goofy. Anyhow, we can't hold the show up. Hey, listen, you know where you're on.
She's gone.
W.
Alright.
O-M-Y.
Oh,
my. And we are one screwed up radio station.
Yeah, huh?
That's why you can find us 1999 AM or 1999 FM.
We got the faces for radio.
We get the radio kissers.
We
So,
got
okay, so then let's go past that and into news from Lowell. News from Lowell. You brought some too, right, with your little notebook?
Yeah,
that
I just figured,
that
you
right
know,
there?
Lowell and behold, I figured we'd just catch up with some of the Lowells out there.
Okay, I'll just give you a little, we'll start off with Lowell, Mass.
We gotta start there.
Population in the 2020 census. And I didn't realize that they had gone over 100,000. They were below 100,000 for a long time. 115,554 humans live there. It's the 5th largest city in Massachusetts.
Good place.
And they had a little thing on this page of the 15 things to see in Lowell. I only copied 3 of them. One of them's the Merrimack Repertory Theater. It says it's a small theater. Gave it 4.5 stars, but easy to see the stage. So that's nice. In fact, Mary and I just went to the Savannah Rep production of
Spitfire Grill.
Spitfire Grill, and it was
Holy
outstanding.
cow.
It was the
Unbelievable.
talent in that was outstanding. So the two other things out of the 15 that I chose to talk about is the Merrimack Ales. Merrimack Ales is a brew pub there, and they give them 4.5 stars.
Nice.
Nice. So I'm gonna have to try that. And Navigation Brewing. You'd have to try something that was called Navigation Brewing.
Navigation Brewing.
Another 4.5 stars. So the stuff to do in Lowell, kids.
Just don't drive on departure.
Yeah.
What do we got? Let's see. I also know that up in that Lowell, Mass, there is the Folk Festival ought to be happening.
Oh, huge. That's coming up at the end of this month.
Is that the one that Bobby Dylan was a part of all those years ago?
No.
That wasn't that one.
No, this started after, that was, I'll tell you, that was in Rhode Island and Newport Folk Festival.
Right, that's right.
But this one in Lowell started, not that long ago. I'm thinking 20, 30 years ago. And it has grown. And one of the reasons it's so popular, as I say, Lowell is a united nation. There are so many different neighborhoods there, different cultures and that. So they decided to get together and have food and music from these groups all over the streets of Lowell at different intersections and that. It really is a time.
That is. That's
and anyway, that's just the end of this month.
Intermingling. Yeah, and there are, Lowell and behold, there are a few Lowells out there, like in Lowell, Florida. That's right. It's such a happening spot that you could stop at the Circle K, or you could visit the Panic Point Sports Horse. Right there on the old main drag.
But what is that? What's a sports horse?
It's the sports horse.
What
It's where you go to get your sports on. Get on your sports.
Is it a bar?
I would imagine so.
Oh, okay, there you go. I'm thinking
every town has one.
I'm thinking they have a racetrack there.
Yeah, or perhaps we could make way over to Lowell, Georgia.
Let's go.
That's right. We can get ourselves a sandwich at Walker's Grocery and Deli. That's right. Pay tip a little extra. They'll go a little bit heavy on the ham and perfect on the mustards. Right? And,
let me pay for it and leave my tip first before you make the sandwich.
Yeah.
It's always a good idea.
That's right. You leave a nice one and they take care of you. Right? Just like up in Lowell, North Carolina, where you can, this week, you can take the kids to sign up for the Fall Soccer League. That's right. Get ahead of the game. Or you could head off to the community committee meeting to talk about the community's committee. Just like that.
And you know who was from Lowell, North Carolina?
Who?
You never heard of him because it was before you. When I was a kid, I collected baseball cards. Whitey Lockman was a first baseman for the Giants. And he was from Lowell, North Carolina. That's the only thing I remember about his statistics and that. But I remember, Lowell, North Carolina, Whitey Lockman. He was decent enough to be a professional.
He could throw a good ball, too. He threw one all the way to Lowell, Indiana. He did. And you can make way there to Freedom Park, where you could be a part of the Freedom Park Committee at the Town Hall. And that's just a stone's throw down the street from Lowell, Michigan, where summer is kicking. And you could head off to the brewery. Plenty to drink in town. Apparently the Lowells like those breweries.
And there's nothing wrong with what you're telling me. Here's what I say. If you can't drink, if you have a problem drinking, don't do it. I am not trying to inspire people that cannot drink to drink. If you have diabetes, I am not going to give you blueberry pie.
I was a fantastic
seriously, that's how
driver.
I feel. So, but again, if you can drink and if you don't make a fool out of yourself drinking, some of these pubs are terrific, and some of these specialty beers are outstanding.
Yeah. Well,
just let me that. Number 19 was a buddy of Ricky's.
Gotcha.
How about that?
And he also sings "Oh My" along with you guys when you do the radio station.
That's right.
Letters from Lowell, the Colony Show.
So you come and meet us in Lowell, Arkansas.
Oh.
And we could go to the Bentonville Whiskey Center.
See?
Right there at the Whiskey Festival. They will be serving over 50 locally distilled spirits. Be sure to bring a designated driver. And from there...
Bail money.
From there, we could go see the drag show at the legendary Eureka Live. Right? And then we could head over to Kennedy at the Kava Bar. And we could do a little bit of karaoke as well and get ourselves.
In Lowell, Arkansas?
Yeah, Lowell, Arkansas. We can
Lowell, AR.
Yeah, we can have
You're on the
ourselves
map.
quite the time as well and finish the
I
day
think we ought
off.
to plan a road trip and take the show on the road.
You know
We'll
what?
do it remote.
Yes, oh my God,
From
that would
Lowell,
be
Arkansas.
from each Lowell.
From each
that
Lowell.
would
From
be
each
funny.
Lowell.
Yeah.
That would be spectacular. Yep, we'll have to head to Lowell, West Virginia. We can swim in Keller Creek, right there, just like that. Not too far away from Lowell, Kentucky, where we can take a hike to Paint Lick.
Ooh,
Pink Lick.
Paint Lick.
paint.
Oh, pink.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were thinking something different.
I don't know, it's some sort of crazy thing that they going on. We could also make our way over to Wink's Bar.
That's a good one. Keep going,
Right,
Louis.
from Wink's Bar, we can make our way out over to Lowell, Kansas, where we could sing some more karaoke at Whiskey Dick's
Whiskey Dicks
Whiskey
and
Dicks.
Pink Lick.
in Lowell, Kansas.
Those are two places we gotta
Yeah.
get to.
Lowell, Kentucky for the Paint Lick, and Lowell, Kansas for Whiskey Dick. There you go.
Whiskey Dick.
Just
Oh man,
like
how bad
that.
can that be?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
From there, we'll pass through Ohio, where we'll stop and we'll be a part of the fundraiser for the Children's Toy and Doll Museum. Spend a little time during the weekend making sure we get our good parts in, and then we can head out to Arizona, right? And where we can celebrate National French Fry Day. Right there, we'll be cooking them up in Lowell,
French
Arizona.
fry. Well, there's a big French
And-
section of Lowell,
Yeah,
so that would
and
go.
right there, we'll head out to the Lowell Observatory, right there in Arizona as well, where we can
Unbelievable.
get some view of space. And this week we can meet an astronomer live and in person. They still exist.
An astronomer.
Yeah, and then they'll propel us up to Lowell, Oregon, where we'll get to be a part of the World's Athletics Championship. Not sure which ones, but we're going to be part of the champions right there.
In Lowell, Oregon?
Yep, where we'll get to go and be a part of the Emerald City Shakedown at Briggs Middle School. You know that's going to be quite a hopping little night right there. In
Emerald
Lowell,
City
Oregon,
Shakedown.
right there at Briggs Middle
That's
School.
way across the
You
other side of the
know
country.
There's some stuff going on.
So before you go any further, I just want to say Lowell we get it covered from the East Coast to the South to the West Coast to Alaska.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a Lowell, Hawaii. I didn't see one pop
I
up.
didn't see that
And
either.
it wouldn't make sense to have one there. But you
I
know,
think you should tell everybody how Lowell got its name.
Yeah.
James Lowell was a very bright man, and back in the 1830s, I believe, he saw the potential of, we were growing cotton here and then shipping it to England so they could make cotton fabric and send it back here. And he's saying, why don't we cut out the middleman? We've got to figure out how to do that. Well, England was very, very protective of their mill industry because they figured out how to use water power and the water wheels to turn these
hydraulics.
belts. And these belts turned the machinery, the big looms and that made it. And it just, it took 99% of the work out of it. And they figured out how to do it. But they guarded it so much. Nobody could get their plans, get a hold of the plans of what it was doing. They protected those. And nobody could go in there with a pencil and paper and start drawing things and looking at it. But James Lowell from the United States just walked around in there. He was, invited and they asked him and they walked around. They didn't realize this man had a photographic memory. He's looking at every cog, wheel, and belt.
Can't get me to check that at the door.
Every one. And again, that's it. He comes back home and he goes to Waltham, Massachusetts. He had some investors, and he said, "Let's see, we can do it here. We might as this is ridiculous. We're sending that cotton and then paying extra to get it sent back here. We can do it ourselves." So they actually built one of those mills in Waltham, Massachusetts, and it was successful. But they realized it was not because the Charles River was so small in Waltham. There wasn't enough water power to build several factories, and they looked around and says, where Lowell is now, that was actually East Chelmsford. It was part of the town of Chelmsford. They go up there and start building the factories there, and then because Chelmsford was a farming community, they just let them break off in their own community, and they named it after him, Lowell, because he's the one that stole the plans how to make it very successfully. And before you know it, England had competition. We didn't have to send our stuff over there. We just kept it here and kept the profit. So it was
pretty much a super
This is
start
how
for
Lowell got
America
its
into
name.
the industrial age.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
one of the things that came out of it too was the mills were, for some reason, they decided to go with women. One reason is they could pay them less than men and get away with it. But what they did was they did not want a bunch of people that was a little city coming to Lowell just to meet up with the girls. So they built housing for the girls.
Dames. It was dames back then.
Anyhow, they built, and these were farm girls because there was nothing else. They were farm girls. They sent their daughters there to make their $2 a day, whatever it was. Whatever it was, it was huge money because they never had any money. So when they, once that was established that the girls would go to Lowell and work there, and they had their own housing, and they were chaperoned and everything. They were watched. You were not going to just move in on them.
Yeah.
Anyhow, what happened was they, after a few years, they got greedy. They decided to increase their hours while cutting their weekly wages, and the girls got together and says, "Nah, I don't think so." They walked out. The first women's strike, probably in the world, was right there in Lowell, Massachusetts. They said no, and they caved in. They gave them back. They caved in. They gave them their money back, and they shortened their week back to what it was. So that was extremely significant in labor in America. That thing there, that hey, the women, we paid them less, let's treat them like dirt, let's pay them even less. And they said, no, you're not. No, you're not. We're making this thing hum. And they were stunned that they did it. They couldn't believe that when one walked out, they all walked out behind it.
Yeah.
You saw Norma Ray. That was kind of a takeoff on it. That was a kind of a takeoff
Take a
on it.
cue.
Yeah. So anyway, that's another thing Lowell has to be proud of.
Fantastic. Very proud.
Yep.
I'm proud.
Well, Billy certainly is.
Really proud.
So Ricky Stokes says, letters from Lowell, the Colony Show with soul.
We got soul hanging around our
soul.
And
We got
Catherine Van is watching,
Hello.
and she says, here's to drinking. And she also said, Lewis, you owe her a bunch of drinks.
I'll meet you in Lowell, Iowa. We can stop at Fat Annie's and her Augusta Tavern. We can drink it up, and then we could go and get some cavities over at the Shortstop Suites. I'll meet you there, right there, and then we'll take the river rafting in Wisconsin, where we'll have breakfast at Cowbells, right there in Lowell, Wisconsin.
Cowbells. I like that. It's a good name.
Yeah, down through Lowell, Nebraska, through the Pioneer Village. And then we'll just keep heading east. So we'll make our way through Lowell, New York, and all the way up into Lowell, Maine.
Yes,
It
I
seems like
had a little thing about
Lowell, Maine. Lowell, Maine.
I must have left that with the other picture I was supposed to show. But
There's
I
like a
had,
little thread of Lowell's. It seems like they either have a distillery.
do me a favor, Mac. Just
Or
look in the
brewery,
kitchen and see if that
restaurants,
little piece of paper about
having
Lowell,
a
Maine,
little
if I left
nightlife.
it on
Oh, you may have. Yes.
I think you
No.
did. I get the feeling you did. Yep. It's just like that. So those are all the Lowells out there. And yet we're going to make that a part of our process. We're going to get ourselves a little Winnebago or drive cross country. And we're going to do our own little travel channel.
The fifth caller could win a bagel.
Oh, yeah.
No, win a bagel.
You can win a bagel.
Yes, that's all we can afford to give you, folks. You can win a bagel. No, that's all right. This is Disappearance Day.
Oh, next week. To be continued
It's
next
around
week.
here. It was on his left somewhere.
I know. Right?
Left.
It left
It
his
left.
left.
So this is the old one. Lowell
Yeah.
Construction Projects.
Yeah.
The Tiger Project over the Lowell Canal.
It's with the picture of the
Hydrant
hammer
flushing.
girl.
Yeah. It is. It's in there
Wherever
somewhere.
that picture is, I know Chad can't watch it today, but I'll send it to him anyway.
That chick's around somewhere.
And anyway, she'll show up next week because it's a hell of a reproduction.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Catherine Harrington is watching.
Hi, Catherine Harrington.
Did someone say win a bagel?
You can win a bagel.
And of course Carol is watching. Carol was the first one on the list and
You
I
said-
never got it. Oh,
No,
did
you
I?
did. You
Okay,
said
I'm
Carol was
repeating.
watching.
Good,
Yeah,
Carol.
yeah.
You deserve a second.
And Vicky. So anyway, we're getting down to the end here.
Yep.
Mac, we want to have a seat and say hi to the folks?
No, yeah.
Get tired of looking at us, guys. Let's show them a little beauty.
I'll tell them quick.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi, honey. I had a little vacation to Colorado. And one of the things that one of the things that I'll tell you about that really impressed me there was the Red Rocks Amphitheater. If you haven't seen it or know what it is, and most music buffs know where it is, it's an outside amphitheater carved into like the red rocks of the mountains there, and the acoustics are supposed to be some of the best ever. It's been voted the best outdoor performance venue multiple times in a row. It was built in, I think it was 1938, so it has been in the performance business since then. Obviously updated several times. Holds about 9,000 people in kind of bench sitting. It's really kind of unique, and I guess that it's just supposed to be an amazing place. We weren't able to visit and see a concert there, but we did get to see the area, and they have a museum as well. It was just super nice, and I just hope that everybody gets a chance at some point to either see it or to visit it for someday.
And maybe Marianne heard this once too often, but people say, "Oh, Bill, how do you get by when Marianne isn't there?" And I said, "She's so kind. She always leaves me whenever she takes a trip with a box of crackers and a jug of water."
That's right.
So
An open box
I am
of crackers.
all set. I'm all
And a
set.
fresh jug of water.
Yeah, and it's fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Marianne.
Now
That's
I'm going to go on the
pretty
hunt
much
for
all
the
I had.
picture, and the thing about Maine Lowell.
I've just searched the entire house and have found nothing.
I
the
know.
dog ate it. The dog ate my picture.
If Marianne can't find it, it doesn't
All I know is I
exist.
was looking at it before the show went on. It was right over here, and then it just.
No. You thought it was over there.
It's
I don't know.
gone.
I get that kind of. Oh, listen. Oh, another thing about getting old.
She's gone.
I forget.
With that, buddy boy.
Lewis, thank you so much for your contribution
Absolute
today.
pleasure.
We love seeing you.
Love seeing you too as well. Thanks for
And
having
we will
me over.
see all of you same time, same place next
Chad.
week.
We miss you
Yep, of course.
absolutely, and you get that slate down, but we do have improvements.
I've got the short
Lewis.
version. The
Get it
shortcut
going.
version
Lewis
today.
got the abbreviation down.
Move
He's
this
got
thing.
it down.
Move this show along.
Go.
Anyway, everyone here that helps and watches and likes this show, we love doing it. So
Yes.
see you again.
See you
Take
all,
care.
everybody.
Much love. See you on the
Ciao.
other side.